Well, hey there, and welcome to a special holiday bonus lesson from Busy Kids Do Piano. Today, we are going to be learning the Russian dance from Tchaikovsky's famous ballet, The Nutcracker.
This was always my favorite when I would go attend performances of the Nutcracker as a kid. I always just thought this was the most exciting part of the performance. It tends to be a crowd favorite as well. We're going to learn this over the course of 2 lessons because it's a little bit of a longer piece. I'm going to teach you the beginning and the end in this lesson video, and in the second video we're going to go over that middle section where things change a little bit. All right, let's take a look. All right, this portion of our video is going to be going over a longer section. As I mentioned, we're going over the beginning and the end, which kind of repeat themselves a little bit, repeat the same themes and ideas. And in our next video, we're going to go over that middle page, the first and second line in the middle page, which is, I think, more challenging, but it won't take quite as long to work through it. So vivace means it's going to be fast and upbeat. A note about the time signature here. I decided to put this piece in 4/4 time to make it accessible for all levels. So that's 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have done it in 2/2 to kind of half the beats and the pulses, which would be like this. That would be that rhythm. So if you're more advanced and you feel comfortable working up to that tempo, either counting the 4/4 really fast or playing it with a 2/2 rhythm, 2/2 time signature rhythm feel, know that you can do that. For our purposes, as I'm teaching you the song, we're going to work at that 4/4 and pull back our tempo a little bit. Okay, my right hand's going to start by playing an interval of a 6th. I'm seated in the middle of the piano. My nose is in line with middle C. Here's the G. A 6th down from G is B, and it's a sforzando, so I'm going to use my wrist and arm to drop into it. And then I have an F sharp in the key signature, so I'm going to play G, F sharp, G, G. Then my thumb comes up and plays to the C here. And then I'm going to play E with finger 4. Then I'm ready to go for the next part. Now here, I'm going to substitute finger 5 to play the D, and then I'm ready to go for that part. And then we get into the next part here. So go ahead, pause the video, try that much of the right hand, and then press play. All right, I want us to add our left hand right away to this part. So left hand, while right hand's playing a 6th, left hand's going to be playing a 5th here in the middle of the piano. G to D is the 5th. It has an accent mark and a sforzando too, so again, you're dropping into it with that wrist and arm weight. During the rests, you can move finger 4 to C, and then you're going to slide the thumb up to G and play E and G. And then you're going to go back down and play that same interval. And then you have C sharp, C natural with finger 3, and then you're playing B with finger 4, D with finger 1. Feels a little bit unusual, but it works out really well and should feel comfortable under the hand. So pause the video, just try the left hand, and then press play. All right, now a couple things to watch for as you put those hands together. Again, you want to drop into it. Make sure you're moving the left hand while the right hand is playing. And again, make sure that you're getting the fingering. I would practice it definitely at a slow tempo to start. All right, let's move on to the next part here. We're just going to go over the right hand a little bit. The right hand has kind of this up and down pattern here, so you want to keep a nice rotation in the wrist as you play. You're going to play B, D, A, D, G, G, D, and then I'm going to move down to the F sharp with finger 1. And then I cross over with finger 2 to play the F sharp and the A at the end. So my hand stays in this position besides moving the thumb, and I just need to keep a nice wrist rotation and also make sure that I'm observing those staccatos. So think about keeping this hand really soft and light. Watch me do that much one more time. video, try that much on your own, and then press play. All right, now while right hand's kind of doing that little bit of a bounce in the staccatos, left hand's gonna have this nice legato back and forth with it. So I left off here, and now I'm gonna put finger 2 on middle C, and I'm just gonna keep going back to that G until I reach the end of the line, and then I have staccato accent. All right, so pause the video, try that much on your own, and then press play. Okay, now what can be tricky here as you put hands together is keeping the articulation. Articulation is those legatos and staccatos. We want to be careful that we don't get sloppy staccatos now that we have a legato left hand. The easiest way to do this is really slow practice, like this. And just do that. If you're losing it and your staccatos are getting sloppy, you need to go even slower. And then after you get the hang of the touch, you can increase your tempo a little bit. Once you can play it at that tempo accurately, increase it a little bit and keep going like that. I sometimes recommend isolating measure 8 and just practicing that hands together a few times, making sure that you're remembering that crossover in the right hand. All right, pause the video if you'd like, try that much hands together and then press play. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the next section now, which is lines 3 and 4, and it's very, very similar, okay? I have my all the same as line 1. The only difference is this second to last measure on this first page, measure 15 and 16. So if you need to, you can circle that A. It goes down to a G on line 2, but in this time it's just gonna go down to A, and you're gonna cross over to E with finger 2, and then you can play your G with finger 4. So still doing this. Okay, and then left hand will be the same again until those last 2 measures. You'll play D, G, C, G, B staccato, C staccato, and then the bottom 2 notes nice and loud. So you can go ahead, pause the video, try those next 2 lines on your own, and then press play. All right, you've learned the whole first page. Let's take a look at our ending really quick. It's gonna start in measure 25. We're kind of returning to that, if we were to call it section A, kind of returning to that same theme. And then going back to this. But it's gonna get a little bit more repetitive and sound a little bit more frantic. If you look at the top of page 3, you'll see the words accelerando. And accelerando means that you're gradually going to build up your tempo and get a little bit faster as you go. Now, don't get so fast that you're starting to hit wrong notes, which means that you may need to pull back your initial tempo so that you're not getting too fast and out of control as you accelerate. The notes, it's going to be that same pattern, but the notes will be a little bit different and a little bit more back and forth. You're going to crescendo at the end, and then you'll have our ending. Let me just go over the ending with you. You're going to play the A, and then you're going to play C and D with fingers 2 and 3, and then end on the same 6 that you began with. All right, left hand, you were up here, and now you're going to jump down and play D, G, D, G, and then when you put your hands together, it'll sound like this. So those are the 2 sections of our piece. I'm going to go ahead and play those 2 sections for you so that you can hear what it'll sound like when you've had a chance to work through them. I'm not going to go quite at a vivace tempo because I want you to be able to hear the things that we just went over. I'll do more of an allegro tempo.